Let's talk a little bit about NXT here. I think it's great that everything is in the same pool. It's a very interesting, pivotal time for NXT right now. What did you think of War Games this past Sunday night?
I did not see War Games.
Never mind. No. I figured with the big sell and everything like that, maybe check out.
I was traveling long distances. Yeah, Sunday night I had a 6-hour drive after my event in Atlanta. So I didn't see it, Nick, but I do like a lot of what I see. Okay. I mean, the WWE as a company made a decision that they were going to use NXT as a way to get the talent ready for SmackDown and Raw. Go a little bit different direction, which not everybody's happy with. But I like it. My son is one of the writers. He's enjoying the new direction. Okay. And I don't know enough about the ratings to tell you whether or not it's working or not. But as somebody meaning Mr. McMahon, reached a conclusion that, the NXT that was not properly, I shouldn't say that, but he didn't think it was preparing the wrestlers as well as it could.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, and it's honestly, I'd go out and check War Games when you have time, Mick. I thought the men obviously were like brutal. The women also had a great match, and in general, it felt like the first time these NXT 2.0 classic kind of like stepped up and really made a declarative statement.
Oh, because they've been having these sensational pay-per-views ever since I don't know if they're pay-per-views or television specials. Ever since I can remember, ever since I, sat in the front row for a few of them, since I saw Joe and Nakamura from the front row sitting there with Becky and Sasha. So, they really step up, and the talent is incredible. And like we said, they're going a different direction, but people are giving it time, and I think it's going to play out well.
Yeah, and as we're kind of moving through this period, different people moving around. It looks like from the NXT 1.0 class, nothing, knock on wood, we're recording this a couple hours for NXT, but it looks like Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly may be wrapping up with NXT. What's your take on the possibility of them maybe leaving the brand to kind of see what exists for them outside of the WWE NXT bubble?
Well, I was kind of vocal in the past few months about the releases that were made and how some talent was being treated, and how if I was a young talent, I'd really have to think twice before trusting, the creative team to do the right thing for me. And if you're Johnny and you see the history of guys his size, there are some exceptions. People have done remarkably well with Brian Danielson being, probably the best example. But I think they owe it to themselves to see what's out there. I love WWE. I do. I'm a WWE guy. But if I had to pick, my loyalty would be to the men and women who do the work in the ring.
How do you feel about the fact that like so much WWE talent's gone on the market? Everybody's like, oh, who's going to AEW? Obviously, AEW, there's no capacity. They don't have like a limit. But like there's a lot of talent that has gravitated over there, and we're coming up on the three-year contract mark for a lot of these AEW talents. Some people may be moving out. What, just kind of in general, what do you think? What do you think about this period right now with AEW and how big it's kind of grown to rather kind of quickly, I guess?
It has. I saw some financial figure as to what it was worth when Tony, began this venture and what it's worth now. So it's been a remarkably successful company. But I think it's just part of a broader movement where people want to see wrestling. And so I've said, I could be wrong, because maybe during the height of the territories there was a better time to be a wrestler, but it's a really good time to be a wrestler. So I think I put a Facebook post out saying, I always resented the term that Bill Watts used when he talked about it being a buyer's market, because I thought it sounded cold and calculated and made wrestlers sound like, soybean futures instead of human beings. But if it was a buyer's market in 1993, I believe it's a seller's market. And again, that's anything that's good for the men and women. I used to say collectively, anything that's good for the boys, but I think we have to specify the men and women, because the women are such a huge part of our business now. the better that is for everybody. And I think it's good for WWE when they meet with talent and the talent decides to go elsewhere, because it puts pressure on them to do the right thing. So I'll throw a name out at you, AJ Francis. To me, AJ was money, big powerful guy, wealth of charisma. He got a rap album out, and I asked AJ if WWE like took issue with some of the lyrics. AJ, he got some strong opinions. A proud black man, and he makes that case known with his lyrics. I think it's a great album. I think he's got an incredible knack for putting words together. Great promo guy. And he said, I don't even think they know I have an album. And to me, my career took off when Bruce Pritchard overheard me talking to Shawn Michaels about this childhood dream I had to be Dude Love. And Bruce went to Vince and said, this guy has a much more interesting real life story than the one we're featuring, the fictional story. And so when I did the sit down interview with Jim Ross, that's when things really took off for me in WWE, because Vince became aware of everything I had to offer. So I just think if you have someone in developmental and you're paying him and you're looking for stars of the future and you're not aware of all the assets they bring to the table, that you're doing a disservice to the talent and the company. So there's just an example of a guy who's not getting a lot of play because he was pretty new to the SmackDown roster, but somebody that I thought would be a big star, and he will. Whether he wants to continue in wrestling, he could be a force in any of the Japanese groups that are running. He could do really well. Independence, be a good catch for AEW, Major League Wrestling. But he indicated to me he might want to go into sports talk, and I have no doubt he'll be a big hit there.
Yeah.